Have you had a spiritual awakening, but you're as confused as ever? Maybe you had a genuine enlightenment experience. You turned your awareness around, you saw your true nature, and you realized that you're not different from the Buddha, the awakened one. You realized that you're already free from all delusion and fundamentally complete. But for whatever reason, you feel like you lost it. You don't feel enlightened at all, or you're facing doubts about it. Your mind habits are still the same. You get annoyed, angry, you feel unworthy, whatever. In Zen circles, there has been an ongoing discussion about this for over 1,000 years. And it's still ongoing. When you look at Zen masters, you will see that they either emphasize one concept or the other. The debate they are having is about sudden versus gradual enlightenment. Is enlightenment attained suddenly, where everything becomes completely clear, with just one big realization? Or do we have to cultivate enlightened awareness gradually? But before I comment on this debate, let me introduce myself first. My name is Christian. I've been on the Zen path for quite some time, and now I want to inspire your spiritual journey. The debate about sudden versus gradual enlightenment originated around 1,300 years ago in China. The story about it is quite famous, probably the most well-known Zen story there is. Every Zen practitioner should have heard it at least once. So the fifth patriarch of Zen, which means he's the fifth successor of the founder of Zen, whose name was Bodhidharma, he asked his disciples to compose a poem expressing their understanding of enlightenment. He was looking for a worthy successor and thought he would be able to tell by the depth of the poem who was right for this job. It's not clear how many monks came up with a poem, but there is at least one particular monk, the head monk, the senior monk of the whole Sangha, who came up with a poem. He was a senior monk, respected by the whole Sangha. And probably many didn't come up with a poem because they thought that he was the natural choice for the succession. The head monk, whose name was Sheng Xiu, wrote following poem. The body is a Bodhi tree. The mind is like a standing mirror. Always try to keep it clean. Don't let it gather dust. This poem can be understood as emphasizing the gradual process of cultivating enlightened awareness. It talks about keeping the mind like a clear mirror, keeping it clean, polishing it at all times, so that the dust, our habitual and delusional thinking, doesn't collect on the mirror. When the fifth patriarch saw the poem, he praised it and he told his monks that they should practice according to it. But he was still open to other submissions, so he did not decide immediately. Then the story took a radical turn. Just a few months before the contest took place, a new guy came to live in the monastery. He was just a regular layman. He was illiterate and he was very poor. He had to sell firewood to make a living and support his mother. So one time when he went into the village to sell firewood, he heard a monk wandering through the forest, reciting sutras. At that moment, hearing only one line from the Diamond Sutra, he attained enlightenment. After that, he went to the monastery, to the fifth patriarch, and he wanted to become a monk. But since he was an outsider, they only allowed him to work in the kitchen. He wasn't even allowed to practice with the other monks. So when he heard the poem while he was working in the kitchen, he knew that it wasn't really right. And at that moment, he came up with his own poem. Bodhi doesn't have any trees. This mirror doesn't have a stand. Our Buddha nature is forever pure. Where do you get this dust? This poem, in contrast to the first one, emphasizes realizing enlightenment suddenly, all at once, in an instant, leaving no room for further discussion. Immediately when the fifth patriarch saw the poem, he was convinced that the illiterate, poor newcomer from the kitchen would be his successor. But the fifth patriarch was a wise Zen master, so he knew that if Huineng, that's the name of the poor guy, the illiterate guy, if he would become his successor, that the temple community would probably try to harm him because of, envy and jealousy. So he made Huineng his successor in secrecy, told him to flee the temple and to wait until basically everybody calmed down before making himself public in order to teach Zen. Although this story clearly highlights the sudden enlightenment approach, influencing Zen traditions up to this day, the idea of gradual enlightenment did not really die out. Some Zen masters kept defending the gradual approach, saying that most practitioners need preparation. They need to cultivate their minds in order to prepare themselves for enlightenment to happen. So how does this play out in our own lives? I think for most of us, things aren't just black or white. From my observation, most people are somewhere in between. Maybe they have a genuine enlightenment experience, but their mind habits are still so strong that they might obscure it. They might need to keep practicing in order to stabilize their enlightenment. Others might practice very diligently, and without a Big Bang experience, they might suddenly realize that they have cultivated enlightened awareness. A Zen master also said that there are maybe people who had a big enlightenment experience, but still behave like idiots, and there are people who are not enlightened at all and they behave like Buddhas. I think as humans we are mostly drawn to a one solution idea. We would like to have one big enlightenment experience and then everything is perfectly clear forever. We're never deluded again and we are perfect Buddhas. However, I think for most of us, this is not how it will go. There are people who seem to have had it that way, but we also don't know what has been going on in their previous lives. There is one approach, however, that I want to share with you. A Korean Zen master whose name was Chinul is an important figure in the sudden versus gradual debate. Chinul taught sudden enlightenment, gradual cultivation. Although he admired the sixth patriarch's sudden approach, he thought of it as an ideal. He said that Huineng's sudden enlightenment was very rare and that most people need gradual effort to integrate such an insight. Chinul also said that enlightenment is sudden, meaning a direct realization of one's own truth. However, he also said that gradual cultivation after this awakening is necessary in order to stabilize and deepen the insight. He said most practitioners need ongoing meditation practice in order to remove their mind habits and embody full enlightenment. Chinul also said that even if we realize our true nature and we see that we are not different from the Buddha, we still have to deal with the mind habit energies within us, which are rarely eliminated all at once. He even compared it with a newborn baby, which is fully equipped with everything, but it's still weak, and it will take many years before it becomes a mature adult. So what I learned from this approach is that although we may have had a genuine enlightenment experience, it's likely that there are parts within us that make us blind to what this experience has shown us. We may still react in unskillful ways in certain situations, but with ongoing practice, as we dissolve and integrate these parts, we become more and more transparent to what we have realized, and enlightenment can fully penetrate our being. However, nothing that I just said really has anything to do with Zen. Zen is described as a special transmission outside the scriptures, pointing directly to one's mind, letting one see into their true nature and attain Buddhahood. Sudden and gradual enlightenment are just ideas or concepts. If we are not careful, we might spend our whole life worrying about sudden versus gradual enlightenment. We may think about our enlightenment experience, we might analyze it, doubt it, or do the opposite and attach to it. Only think about it as a proof that we are enlightened. Or we worry about gradual cultivation, attaching to our effort in meditation, trying to force our way to enlightenment, trying to eliminate all our mind habits, and trying to heal ourselves from everything. If I heal all my wounds, I will be like a perfect and clear mirror. By making up these concepts in our mind, we create sudden. We also create gradual. We create past. We create future. We create an idea that limits us from actually seeing our true nature right now. Zen is directly pointing to one's mind. Who is thinking about sudden or gradual enlightenment? Who are you? Let go of sudden enlightenment. Let also go of gradual enlightenment. What is this? Don't attach to your thinking. Try to keep a mind that's before thinking, because our before thinking mind is already free from concepts, ideas, and dualities. It's our original pure state of awareness prior to everything. Our before thinking mind is already one with the universe, with reality, with Buddha. And Korean Zen master Sung San, he said that meditation is to keep a before thinking mind, no matter what we do, whether we are sitting, we are standing, we are lying. We return to this before thinking mind by asking ourselves, who am I? Or what is this? And we practice it from moment to moment. Actually, every time you ask yourself this question, you already attain sudden enlightenment, whether you are conscious of it or not. And when you do it moment to moment, you gradually cultivate an enlightened mind. So sudden enlightenment and gradual enlightenment, they are not different. But more importantly, who are you? And let go of your enlightenment experience, and also let go of trying to cultivate enlightenment. Who are you? Okay, I hope this was helpful. Feel free to share your experience, your thoughts, or any questions about it in the comments. I've also just released an online course on the fundamentals of spiritual awakening. You can find the link in the description. I wish you all the best. Your friend of the way,